Hi there guys and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Sorry about the delay in videos. I've had a horrendous cough and it's been pointless me trying to make videos. Also a real nightmare with the Western Main Lines, but I won't go into it at the moment because let's just get going. So this is a scenario that comes with the Armstrong powerhouse East Coast Main Line South scenario pack. We're an MTU class 43 in Grand Central livery. So, hello driver, as is usual for Grand Central service, you are currently being held for a time at Peterborough as a slightly late running 1 Alpha 33 1345 Leeds King Cross goes ahead. When you receive the road, you may get on your way to London King's Cross where you're scheduled to arrive at 1609. Enjoy. Okay, that's fine. We can deal with being stuck for a bit. See what our frames are like. I've just had to do a fresh reinstall of Train Sim, and I've tried to keep my assets folder to a minimum. We'll see if that makes any improvement on my stability. Last week I enjoyed. Week before, I installed the Western Main Lines by Just Trains, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. I couldn't start anything from Paddington. It automatically gave me a dump because it was using excruciating amounts of RAM. But if I started Bristol, I could get somewhere sometimes. And then sometimes I'd get 5 minutes through the scenario. Sometimes I'd get 10 minutes. Sometimes I'd get 45 minutes. And then it'd dump. So yeah, there were about 5 videos last week recorded. Not a lot of talking just because I was coughing most of the time. These videos didn't even get to see the light of day because they've all dumped at the end. There was one that I recorded with Just Trains 153 that I probably will put up just for a bit of hilarity. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Just Trains route. I know plenty of you out there run it absolutely fine. For me, it's just a no-go. Hopefully with this fresh install I should get somewhere. But we'll wait and see. For now, I'm going to go back to my old stomping ground, which is the East Coast Main Line. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. Oh, while we're sitting here waiting, we should really get the train set up. Tail lights off, headlights on day. Let's quickly nip to the back and stick on our ECS. That's fine. There's a 170 there. Cross-country trains on its way to Stansted, probably. There is a guy that's actually building that part of the East Coast Main Line, which is lovely to see. Did you see that? Did you see that? I remembered the DRA, which those of you who watch my videos will know is rare for me to always remember the DRA. It's a livery that grows on me. I can't say when it came out. It sort of reminded me, and it was the logo that did it. Even when I started seeing the first sort of mock-ups and things like that of this, when Grand Central were first sort of on the scene, it reminded me a little bit of something that somebody had made in like Microsoft Publisher. So like your mum's mate Barbara's husband who started up a window cleaning company. It's a bit like that. Just looked a bit cheap. Sort of that weird silvery 3D. Yeah. Like a school project. I had to design a company for graphics project or something. But the orange and black's quite cool. Orange and black always go quite well together, don't they? So I've had to little play with my graphics, and stupidly the last sort of setup I had ran really nicely, but I hadn't written down what I'd actually got it set at. So when it came to restart, when it came and reinstalled everything, I've sort of had to hit and hope again. And I've just stupidly thought, I did run a scenario before I did this video very quickly, just check everything was running right, and it isn't. The class 321, the livery pack was installed, but it was installed before I installed the 321 pack, just because I was stupidly trying to install too many AP things at once. So we will see some 321s that are going to be white. I do apologise for that. So P320, everything up slow, King's Cross, 73 miles. I've fallen more and more for the buffered HST since this MTU pack, and the Valenta pack especially, actually. No marker lights on, and I'm speeding. Always forget it's literally 100 for this crossover here, and then up again you go on to 105. So yeah, the lack of videos have been due to the Western Main Lines and also a chest infection. I still haven't managed to completely shift, so you might hear me mute this quite quickly and have a strange coffee fit in the corner and then come back and carry on. But yeah, what have we missed since I've been away? What have I missed? Well, Western Main Lines became the South Devon coast route, and it sounds like the extension version had some pretty significant problems, which does happen. It's not something that's just particularly down to Just Trains. It happens all across the board. Train Sim World has another beta which I haven't looked at yet. I'll be honest, the improvements on the optimisation stuff will be cool, but really until they get some UK content, it's not really going to be me. I'm just going to leave it alone for a bit. Hopefully by the time we've got some half decent UK DLC, we'll have all the optimisation issues sorted. It's got a lot of potential, don't get me wrong, a lot of potential. It can wipe the floor with this. I mean, on some of the stretches I was getting 23, 24 frames per second I'm getting 15. We're at Conington here. Is this Conington? So 15 frames per second here, and it's 10 times more detailed in Train Sim World. Also today was released the extension with the hitch and flyover up to Letchworth, which I would love to be playing, and that was partly my reason for doing an East Coast Mainline video today. I spent the whole day today just installing the East Coast Mainline stuff, really, to keep my asset folder small and try and get my train sim a little bit more stable. Only to find, when I went onto the workshop to download the DP Simulations extension, that it requires the South London network and the North London lines, neither of which I have. Which I was, yeah, kind of a bit gutted about. But it is in theory on this route, so when we get to there, we'll see whether we're do you know, as long as I just have the flyover, I suppose I'll be kind of happy. I'd love to be bombing it up to Letchworth. In fact, I'd love to be going all the way to Cambridge. Even up to King's Lynn would be nicer. But that is coming. There is a guy out there making quite a good proportion of the railways around Cambridgeshire. So he's doing Cambridge, March, Ely, up to Peterborough, that route. And I think he's going out. Then he's doing the Cambridge route, which is Foxton, Meldrith, and all that jazz, and he's also doing the Liverpool Street line as well, so Broxbourne, Shenfield, that sort of way, and he's making good progress with it. I think all the track's down, most of the signalling's done. He's now on the scenery, which I'm guessing is the tricky bit. I do not make routes, so I have no idea. Trying to think why that HST ahead of us would have been that slow. I haven't actually done this scenario, so I don't know if it's going to throw up any. There is stop at certain signals, go via signals and stuff. So another Grand Central 43. I don't know what it's going to throw up. I think Huntington's 110, so. Come off now anyway. Whoa, laggy. I've actually followed the Armstrong powerhouse advice here and lowered my scenery density down 1 notch for this route, which is what they suggest. I can safely say I'm glad I did. I used to do quite a lot of drinking over here. And Brampton Mill was a pub. It's about there. It's a good pub, and Brampton itself is about here. spent a lot of time having fun in my youth. The sounds and everything are amazing in this, but it does just show you the Valenta pack. The Valenta had a lot more it just sounded better. I can say it. You keep getting really high drops in frame rates and then it's sorting itself out. Like it's loading in scenery tiles that are taking quite a while. So there we go, 15. Up to 19. Just going through Paxton, Buckton. Alert, possibility of an incorrect signal aspect. Please treat the signal head as a double yellow. Obviously came through our GSMR. It is a double yellow. I'm going to ease up, I don't like that. Signal head is a single yellow. It is a single yellow. What am I to treat this signal as? Diversionary, like it says, okay. That's what the 40's about. You can always expect a little something from Armstrong Powerhouse, can't you, when it comes to this sort of thing? Something a bit different. So it takes down the slow lines though. Do you know, I should have realised that when it said go via Everton up slow, that something was going to happen. I didn't want to spoil the surprise, that's what it was. Boil the surprise? Depends how crap it was, whether I'd boil it. Driver, just let you know you've been diverted onto the upslope between here and Sandy due to a track circuit failure on the upfast. That's not bad. If it's only here and Sandy, it's not an issue. It's not going to hold us up too much. It doesn't make too much of an impact. Down fast working all right. I think actually the last video I did in the East Coast Mainline South took a screenshot in about the same place. Didn't see them. So it was December 2007 when Grand Central first got their operating licence. So the thing with Grand Central, which is different to everything else, is they're not franchise. So if you look at all the other rail operators, they all have paid for a franchise as such, really. They've paid to operate a line or a set of lines that the government have divvied up. Open access operators at Grand Central are slightly different. Grand Central. Grand Central. They're basically, they decide, they sort of go, right, well, I could run a train from A to B because nobody else does, or I could run it A to B quicker, or I could run it A to B with more intermediate stops. A service different to the main franchise. And these guys did that because they did it from Sunderland to King's Cross and Bradford to King's Cross. Sunderland was first, and then it was Bradford about a couple of years later, 2-3 years later. There's the white 321s I was going on about. Yes, open access operators can basically pick and choose what they do, but it's not a given. You can't just become an open access operator. You've got your route has to go to the Department for Transport. They've got to say whether you can or can't. Other operators can come along and say no because you'll be taking business away from us. It's a really complicated process. I mean, there has been tens, 20 odd bids, I would think. But they've tried to purchase slots like Grand Central have, and just haven't been able to, really. But treat signal as a single yellow. Okay, so it's going to take me 40 again, isn't it? Funny enough, Grand Central aren't the only open access operator. I suppose they are in a right because they're one of the very few. So there's these and Hull Trains, I think, are probably the only other one I can think of that started out. And I think Hull Trains was definitely before Grand Central anyway. But open access operators, other ones that you wouldn't really think of, include people like Eurostar, Heathrow Express, and also that weird Heathrow Connect thing that they do as well. They're also open access operators, because none of those are included in franchises. There isn't a Eurostar franchise as such. I'm saying there never will be in the future. If you think about it, the franchises came from when they divvied up British Rail. So if you're talking about routes and things that didn't exist when British Rail was divvied up, they're generally open access operators. Apart from Eurostar. As much as Eurostar was British Rail in a weird way, it kind of wasn't. And I suppose then you've got things like PTEs, so like they're like passenger transport executives, which are like local authority owned passenger stuff. So Merseyrail I know is one. Tyne and Wear Metro. Just trying to think of a few others, but I can't off the top of my head. I think also another strange one was, do you guys remember the Parry People Mover, the PPM? It looked like one of them Opta slow-low bloody buses that somebody had stuck some wheels, train wheels underneath, and it used a transit engine and a flywheel, if I remember rightly, some sort of like flywheel energy capturing technology, and that worked at the Stourbridge branch. But I can't even remember what it was called, but I'm pretty sure they operated that as an open access operator, but through London Midland. So that's quite another one that I can think of. But I mean, I remember reading about that donkeys years ago. And I mean, they didn't do that until, that was the year my daughter was born, so 2009. When the PPM started, I think. I don't know if they still use the PPM down there actually, or if it's, I know it was 153s at that point. I hope so. It's quite a clever little thing, really. So one interesting other East Coast mainline open access operator isn't actually here yet. Is an East Coast company called East Coast Train Operating Company. If I remember right, it's started by First. So First Group want to do it as an open access, and they want to basically run, is it like 5 return services between King's Cross and Edinburgh via the East Coast mainline. And it's actually got the paths in theory, as far as from what I can understand, it's got 10 paths per day, but it doesn't start till May 2021. and they're supposedly procuring a fleet of 125 mile per hour EMUs. Now, while I'm all for progress on the railway, and I think that's a great idea, I would love them to turn around and say, do you know what, we've got those lovely 91s and Mark IVs that are about to be scrapped, let's keep them instead. That's purely my romantic rose-tinted enthusiast glasses. Or even better, for all those people that will be screwing when I say this, if they took on the Eurostars and got some gauge work done at Newcastle. I can hear you all squirming in your seats now. I'm really sad that we're going to lose the Class 373s in the current condition. I think we have the opportunity to preserve one in pretty much as-built condition, because the ones that are being kept are being refurbed, and we're just not. I think that's a massively missed opportunity. I mean, I'm sure there's nobody that's got the space to store a full train of was it 14 carriages on those? 2 power cars. It's a long train. Yeah, so do you know, even if it was just like half a set, I would love to have seen one properly preserved. And there's a shell of one at the National Railway Museum, but inside it's pretty much gutted. And I know there isn't much call for things like the technology that was in them nowadays, but you look in 20, 30 years' time, to have one that's there and could in theory be restored, super duper complex, super duper expensive. I mean, there was a guy the other day saying that even some of the programming cards for the older computer systems that are in it can be like so bespoke that they can be £7,000–8,000 upwards for one. And from reports I've read in other things, that old technology is something I really like anyway, but some of the older stuff that I know runs things like, we had a heating system at work that ran off that was super duper high tech for a hospital at the time, and I can't remember when that would have even been put in, late 80s, and to fix that, to get something made to fix that was going to be something absolutely astonishing, like 15 grand, and that was just to replace the cards, the programming cards that were for it, because they were having to be bespokely made. There was none available, and nobody made them anymore. But there's some little company out there, some really, really, really tiny little guy in a shed making this sort of thing, making a killing. I'd like to do it. I suppose that's going to affect locomotives like the Class 92. It's going to affect things. The 60 not so much, really. It does have a microprocessor controlled diagnostics panel, but I don't think it's as in depth as. And see, sometimes things like that can be done with, can be sort of like retrofitted with modern components that can do the same job. Sorry, things like Arduino boards and things like that could in theory do the same job if they could program them well enough, very cheaply. But again, it's find the person that can do it. And the 91s, I suppose, as well. We'll have that. But a lot of them, again, they were sort of upgraded, and a lot of the stuff that was quite sketchy was replaced in the 2000 refurbishment. So we can hope that when it does come to preserve a 91, it's a bit easier. Sorry, my cursor's in the middle of the screen again. That wee man will moan at me. Hang on a second. I'm a little bit confused as to where I am. It says at Shatfield already. Do you ever do that on routes that you really know? Routes that you've driven like 1,000,000,001 times. You know them pretty well in real life and on the sim. Sometimes you're just going to go, but get all stuck. Confuses the hell out of me. That's Stevenage. No, sorry, Hatfield. No, it's not. It is Stevenage. That's the bank building that never got used. Oh, I didn't even see the flyover. I must have been yakking too hard, if it was there at all. If you saw some floaty track hanging over me, please put it in the comments. I will watch the video before I put it up a bit. Won't watch it all, but I'll watch some of it. I'll pick highlights out when I upload it, and then make sure that the sound's all the way through and things like that. But I tend not to watch them all the way through again. Journey on with National Express East Coast stripe. That's just gone green. That's cool. Let's take it up to 90. This is us going into like deadly frame rate territory. Nobody's still not done the Harvard Loop either, have they? I'll be honest with you, keep your eyes on DPS simulations. They are dark horses when it comes to just extending routes, and some of their work is amazing. I'd love to be doing their East Coast mainline scenarios at the minute, but there's just too many things too many bits of stock I don't have. Which is really irritating the life out of me. Which means next payday is going to be very, very, very expensive for me. The Just Trains 220, no 222, the Meridian. I need that I haven't got, and since I lost access to my other Just Trains account, I don't even have the 60. Which again I'd have to buy. And do you know, I kind of begrudge that. It's so retro these days to be paying full price for it. Just beyond me. And again, for the Meridian, I mean, I'm never going to use it. Although saying that, when the VP185 pack comes out, which is going to be it's going to be Master Key Simulations VP185, isn't it? Sorry about the 321. When that comes out, I'll want it for the Midland Main Line. So that's not the worst purchase in the world. Hang on, I've been cruising through those yellows and not checking them. Just come up to the viaduct. Oh, I wish I got rid of the HUD. That'd have been a perfect screenshot. Sorry, I quite liked where I had it, to be fair. Just over the parapet wall a bit. Satisfying. Double yellow. Knock the speed on the head a bit. Just so I could hear the brake rub more than anything. So yeah, talking about the VP185 from Armstrong Powerhouse. Do you want to hear my guess? Here's my guess before this comes out, and I'll probably be proven completely wrong. We won't get one from Armstrong Powerhouse. I think Master Key Simulations will bring out. We know they're already doing a VP185 because the Caller Group on the computer models that they've put up already, renders, sorry, is what I should be saying. And then Armstrong Powerhouse comes out with this Class 66 enhancement pack. And as soon as I see that, I'm sitting there going, Class 66 enhancement pack? Well, the Class 66 Pro sound pack already basically is an enhancement pack. It's got the working EM2000 display or whatever it is. It's a there isn't really much they could add to it. I was like, kind of, what's this about? And then I was reading in the comments, and they said, there's somebody commented on this saying, look, what's going on? Is this just going to be, what's it going to be? And they were like, oh, our scripter's busy with another project at the minute, so we're trying to do stuff that we don't need scripting. And I thought, where's he then? Is he working on the Gatwick Express 460s? Is it 460? Darth Vader looking thing. That's Master Key's first thing they're going to release, and that looks amazing. I'm not a big Southern Region fan, but I like the Alstom stuff, and especially of that era, sort of the Juniper, Adelante era. It was a bit crap, and I like technology that's a bit crap. Hence my love for things like the APTP and Sinclair C5s. Failed technology, I think I've said this in other videos, failed technology seems to be like, I just love it. And like all the Alstom units that came out have all had very heavy modifications really to get them to work. Nothing really worked when they first came out properly. 175's got rid of that hydrokinetic braking stuff that they had. Or was it hydrokinetic? I think they did have something like hydrokinetic braking, and the 180s went through loads of mobilisation problems, to computer problems, to engines in certain certain cars not working, and some great videos on YouTube that show you how they got around some of the problems with the 180s. And then Grand Central, Hull Train's got them. And I think they sorted them out pretty much, and then Grand Central have got them, and they've done quite a sterling job at keeping them pretty reliable. And the Juniper fleet, the 334s up in Scotland, they haven't been the most reliable things in the world, but now are all right. And yeah, the 460 is one of those. And that was specifically built for Gatwick Express. It was designed for the purpose of running to the airport and back with a luggage compartment and everything. And then they turned them all into 458s, did they? and stuck the 442s back on the Gatwick Express runs. And if you ask me, one train that's really not suited to airport stuff is the 442s. Single leaf Mark III, nah. Just really not. I've just been realising while I've been yakking, we've been going very, very slowly. So we'll get our speed back up now. So yeah, I think we will get the VP185 will have some sort of Armstrong powerhouse input in it. Now how that will work will be interesting. Are Armstrong powerhouse part of Master Key Simulations? Because we know nothing about them. They're a bit of an unknown entity. I mean, I'll be honest, I even tried looking up who owned the domain name for them, and even that's anonymous. I mean, some people out there have got the suspicion who it is. I don't know if Armstrong Power... Well, my guess is that they are involved somehow, but how it's going to be, whether it's going to be like Master Key Simulations in association with Armstrong Powerhouse, or is it going to be like Armstrong Powerhouse Master Key Simulations, like it is with that lovely thing there, the AP Wagons 3-on-3. Are Master Key going to publish it through Armstrong Powerhouse, as that route to market is already there? The name's already there. And the track record as a publisher is there. So yeah, I don't know. So what did I really tell you? I said I'll tell you my guess there, and then I didn't really tell you anything, didn't I? Yeah, my guess will be that Armstrong Powerhouse will have some input with the VP185 from Master Key Simulations. So I think we know from then so far that they want to do the 460, which is basically done from what I've seen. The VP185 Class 43 and a Class 47. I think all three are a very good choice. I mean, the 460 has sort of quite limited routes, doesn't it? I'll be honest with you, I hadn't thought of it until I just thought of it there. But yeah, maybe the 460 isn't the best choice. I don't remember it being used anywhere else. Did they go to Brighton and then up to Gatwick as well? I'm not sure. I'm going to try and look it up. It's probably a really bad time just pulling into London though. So the 460s actually were Junipers, which included the 334s and the 458s. Doesn't tell me anything else really about them. Yeah, no, I can't really see. Somebody out there, if you could comment and tell us, did they go much further? I mean, I can understand they would have maybe done the once or twice. That's cool. I like that. The once or twice sort of trip down to Brighton or whatever. But did they regularly... stop eating my frames. Did they regularly travel down to Brighton or anywhere else apart from just Gatwick? Didn't do my home before we went in there. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, I'm really looking forward to doing the DB simulations, East Coast mainline routes, the scenarios they've done. Go and check those free packs out. Those free scenario packs are awesome. And I'll be honest, on par with the Armstrong powerhouse ones, which I'd happily pay a £5 for. Although I haven't really. This is the only one I've got, I think. The stock list is usually quite intensive. Wasn't looking where I was going. That's not true, I was looking where I was going. Just not at the map. Here you go, guys. Come and watch my 2 frames per second bound screenshots. Hope you all really enjoyed that. And this kind of reminds me why I don't do many scenarios or videos on this end of this route. I mean, we are down to some seriously low ones here. Was that in there? Was that a 313? Yeah. And this is Hornsey, ladies and gentlemen. Another place where you can pretty much, even if it's empty, guarantee that I get about 2 frames per second. There we go, now back to a semi-normal frame rate. .65 limit coming up as well. Something still really quite modern looking about a 365. I think I really like the fact that the underside, I mean, they made an effort to hide all the gubbins with the Networker series, which they hadn't done on the previous EMUs like the 317, 319s, 321s. There's no skirt. If you look at everything that was sort of high speed or cool back then, they did. Mark 3s, Mark 4s. Sorry, cursor guy. It was back. The AP321 does eat frame rates as well, I won't lie. Oh no. Wrong way. That's going to take me down. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. And then over speed. Oh, it's nice to see it busy, King's Cross. I quite liked the East Coast grey. I won't lie. I didn't find it offensive. There's been a programme on recent Channel 5 called Inside King's Cross or something, I think. I've quite enjoyed it. Even though they're quite often in York and other places all over the East Coast main line, I suppose it all does link back to King's Cross. It's a funny little glitchy thing happening here, isn't there? Do you know, 1609 is I think when we were due in. So that I don't think is too bad. Right then guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and there'll be more content coming up in the next few days, so keep your eyes peeled to the channel. Feel free to like, share, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Share it with your friends if you think they'll like it as well. The more the merrier. Thanks ever so much guys, see you soon.